Hello everyone, in this video we're going to look at the new features and improvements that Microsoft has been working on for the next big update of Windows 11. Windows 11 will only receive one feature update each year instead of two like it was previously seen on Windows 10, and the first one is planned to arrive in the fall of 2022. This will allow the company to have more time to work in more features, minimizing upgrade frustration among users. Although it isn't clear what will be included in the next refresh, the company is expected to focus on improving existing features and adding new experiences. This video is meant to be an early look at the things that the company has been working on for version 22H2, but this is not meant to be a full review of the new version of Windows 11. Also, some of the improvements may arrive in the stable channel separately from the next feature update. Okay, here are all the features and changes expected to arrive in the next version of Windows 11. As part of the Start menu changes for version 22H2, Windows 11 is expected to bring new settings to customize the recommended section in the Start menu. Although it is still not possible to disable or remove the feature completely, you will now see three new options on the Start settings, which includes more pins. And when you choose that one, you're going to see that we have an extra room for pins. You can choose the default. That doesn't change anything. Everything stays the same. Or you can use the more recommendations option that will show more recommendation items than pins. Also in the power menu, we're now going to see a new signing options entry that opens the signing options page on the settings app. And if we go to the all apps section, we're going to notice that the Windows Ease of Access folder has been renamed to Accessibility. If you're actually showing items on the recommendation section, you can now also right click the header of the section and you will find a refresh button to refresh the content that appears on this area. In the taskbar, Windows 11 version 22H2 will also bring back the ability to show the clock on all monitors, removing the need to use third-party tools to get the same experience that existed in previous version of Windows. You won't find an option to control this feature. This will now be the new default behavior. Also, you can now use the mouse wheel when hovering over the volume icon to lower and increase the system volume. On the taskbar settings, you will now find an option to enable and disable the ability to share a window from the taskbar on apps like Microsoft Teams. And the option is this one right here. So when this feature is enabled, if you are on a supported app such as Microsoft Teams, you can now just hover over an application and you will see this new share this window option. And when you click it, you can now share that particular window with the meeting. If you want to stop sharing it, just hover over the app and select the stop sharing button. Or you can hover over another app and select to share that window, and that will close the current window that you were showing before. As part of the quick settings improvements, you will now see a new icon next to the volume slider to make this option more discoverable. As part of the notification center improvements, we're now going to see that the toast notifications now have an acrylic background, and the animation used in Windows Hello notification when setting up the feature has been also updated. Microsoft is also updated the notification system. So for example, apps that sends notifications for calls, reminders, or alarm, the three high priority notifications will now appear stacked simultaneously. This means that you may end up seeing up to 4 notifications at one time, 3 high priority and 1 normal priority. In addition, this feature update will also introduce the ability to mute and unmute the microphone from the taskbar when using Microsoft Teams. The button will appear automatically in the system tray right here. And right now I have it disabled so it doesn't screw up the audio when I'm recording the video, but I'm just going to stop talking for 1 second and I'm going to show you the features. So just pay attention at the bottom right corner. Also, you can toggle the microphone on and off by using the Windows key plus Alt K keyboard shortcut. Also, we won't have to wait until the next version of Windows since it will be available in a future servicing update. Windows 11 version 22H2 finally brings an updated design for the volume control indicator when using the keyboard key, as you see right here. Not only this, but Microsoft is also updating the flyout design for other hardware indicators such as for brightness, camera, and airplane mode to align with the design language of Windows 11. Furthermore, these elements also support the light and dark color modes. In this new feature update, when you right-click the Start button, you will now notice that the Apps in Feature entry has been renamed to Install Apps because that's the page that the entry will now open. When using Snap Assist to create snap groups, now they will appear on the task view interface, as you can see it right here. So you can switch between the groups or other applications right through the interface. Previously, snap groups were only available when hovering over the application that belongs to that particular snapped group. Also, when opening the task view experience, the system with multiple monitors, you will notice that the background should now be acrylic on all displays. It is unclear if this change is gonna make it to the final version of Windows 11 version 22H2, but when you're using the Alt-Tab keyboard shortcut, now the experience will be shown windowed instead of full screen. In the past, when you use the Alt plus Tab keyboard shortcut, this was the experience that you will see, a full screen experience. In this new version, there is a new interface to switch between languages and keyboard layouts with an acrylic background, and it improves the overall performance and reliability. Version 22H2 will also introduce a new feature called Spotlight Collection, a feature that changes the background of the desktop automatically every day with the different pictures around the world. If this feature sounds familiar, that's because it is the same feature that shows images on the lock screen. To enable the feature, you need to go to the personalization settings and then go to background. And in here, you will find a new Spotlight Collection option. It might take some time, but that will show different backgrounds on the desktop throughout the day. Once you enable the feature, you will also notice that on the desktop, there is a new button which you can right click to get more information about that image or switch to another picture. You can always like or dislike the picture, so future images will be more tailored to your likings. Microsoft is also updating the widgets icon, and starting with this release, the entry point will be located at the bottom left corner of the taskbar, showing the current weather information. And when you hover over it, it will open the dashboard to interact with the widgets interface. Now, if you're using the alignment to the left, you will now see that the icon will remain on the taskbar, but it will not show text. It will just be an icon. If you want to disable this feature, you can always turn off the widgets icon right here on the taskbar settings. And even if you align the icons to the center, it will no longer be visible. Now let's look at the new improvements that Microsoft has been working on for File Explorer. On Windows 11 version 22H2, you can now copy the path for a specific file or folder just by using the Shift-Control-C keyboard shortcut. Just to demonstrate that this works, I just use the keyboard shortcut, and now I'm going to paste what's on the shortcut, which is the path for this specific file. Also, now when you right-click an item, the Legacy context menu uses more padding for selecting an item, and the selection color has been changed from the blue to a new light or dark mode depending on the system color that you have on the computer. You also see this change by opening Task Manager and going through the file menus. As part of the improvements, when you right-click the this PC item on the left side, you will notice that now we're going to see a Map Network Drive option, and when you right click the network drive, you will find the corresponding disconnect option. And while you are in the this PC page, when you open the See More menu, you will now find the option to add a media server connection, which is this one right here. All these are options that were available before, but now you're going to see them on the modern context menu. As usual with every new version of Windows, we're also are going to get a new updated version of the settings app that includes new features and improvements. On the sound page, you will now see a warning when the microphone access has been restricted on the privacy settings. As you can see right here, if you want to lift that restriction, you can click right here to open the microphone settings to enable the feature. On the Focus Assist page, there is a new option that allows you to decide whether the feature will be enabled automatically during the first hour after a Windows feature update, which is this one right here. As part of the Bluetooth improvements, Windows 11 will not remember if you turn on Bluetooth or Wi-Fi while in airplane mode. The next time you use airplane mode, the radius will reflect your preference. On printers and scanners, there are no new features, but now the page for a specific printer has been updated to show more information about the device. I have the printer turned off, so apparently I don't have a lot of information that it can be displayed, but that might just be because of the update or because the printer is not turned on at this time. But here, that's where you will see all the new available information. Also, on network and internet, the advanced network settings page has been updated to include another page called advanced sharing settings. And on this page, you will find a lot of the sharing settings previously only available on control panel, including for network discovery, file and printer sharing, and public folder sharing. In addition, some of the entry points for network and devices settings in control panel will now open in the settings app. On the taskbar page, you will now find a new option to clear the recent searches when you hover over the search icon. So right now when I hover over, you're going to see my last 3 searches. But now, if you don't want to see the recent queries, you can just clear this option. And when you clear the option, you should no longer see any more recent searches when you hover over the icon. On Windows 11 version 22H2, we now have the apps and features page split into 2 new pages, including the install apps and the advanced app settings page. And on the install apps page, you will only find a list of all your apps that you have installed on the computer. And now when you view on the top right corner, you will see that now we have 3 options to change the view, and we can change it to a grid view or a tile view, and the default, which is the list view. You'll notice that if we use the grid view, the option to uninstall is right on the tile. Also, the sort by menu has been updated to show different ways to sort alphabetically and by size. Then on the advanced settings page, you will find all the remaining settings that used to be on the apps and features page that are not on the install apps page. And that includes the settings to enable or disable archive apps, to control app execution aliases, share across devices. On the default apps page, Microsoft is bringing back the ability to switch default browsers. So once you upgrade to this new version, you will find a new set default at the top right of the page of the web browser that you want to set the new default. And when you click that, it will make the new default for the system. However, it is not perfect since Microsoft Edge will continue to be the default browser for other protocols, including PDFs, FTP, and others. Also, when searching on the default apps page, Windows 11 will now show the drop-down of the options that contains that query without having to press enter to see the results. On accounts, your Microsoft account is a new page that includes the information from your Microsoft account, including details about your Microsoft 365 subscription and quick access to order history, payment details, and Microsoft rewards. On time and language, the language enrichment page has been updated, but it doesn't include new settings. Instead, what Microsoft has done was to update the interface so it looks more like it belongs to Windows 11 with a new style design. But it appears that it still needs work. As you can see, the interface is appearing on the left side instead of center. That should be displaying right around here. Also, on Ethernet and Wi-Fi, Windows 11 version 22H2 adds support for discovery of designated resolvers or DDR, allowing the system to discover encrypted DNS configurations from a DNS resolver known only by its IP address. If you're using a VPN connection, now on the VPN page, when you open the connection, you will be able to see more details about that specific connection. On privacy and security, on Find My Device, there's not a lot new here, but you will find more links, which are these ones right here, to help you learn more about the privacy and resources about this feature. On Windows Update, on Update History, we now have an option to uninstall updates. This feature was previously only available on Control Panel, but now you should be able to uninstall updates right from the Settings app. And the interface to uninstall updates from the Control Panel is no longer available. If there are any entries on Control Panel, they will point to this new interface. And here it will be listed all the updates that you can actually remove from the computer, and by clicking uninstall, it will remove it from the computer. And those were the most interesting improvements that Microsoft have been working on for the Settings app for Windows 11 version 22H2. On Windows 11 version 22H2, Microsoft is also expanding the touch keyboard theming experience to other input features, including emojis, voice typing, and IMEs. So this is how the updated page looks like. And now selecting one of the available themes, it will update the theming for voice typing, the emoji panel, and the keyboard. So let me just open right here and let me open the on-screen keyboard so you can see this using the new theme. And if we open the emoji panel, we can also see that it's using the same theme. Another big feature that Microsoft is working on for Windows 11 version 22H2 is voice access, which is just a new feature that allows anyone to control their laptop or desktop computer using their voice. When using voice access, you can use your voice to open and switch apps, browse the web, dictate emails, and more. According to Microsoft, voice access leverages modern and on-device speech recognition to recognize speech accurately and is supported without an internet connection. The feature is only supported on English US language, which means that the Windows display language should be set to English US. Otherwise, voice access may not work as expected. So you can start voice access as an app, and you have to go through initial setup, but once set up, you can just open it and start using your computer using your voice. And there are some settings that you can configure on the accessibility page, more specifically on the speech section. For example, here you can enable and disable the feature, and you can check this option to start voice access as you sign in on your computer. From the interface, you can open the settings to set the default microphone or manage the microphone settings. You can also enable or disable the automatic option, view the privacy statement, and you can also turn off voice access. If you click this menu, you can also open the interactive guide that will help you to get set up using this feature. And at the end, there is a list of all the commands that you can use with voice access on Windows 11. As part of the boot experience, the startup will now show a progressive ring animation instead of the animated circle of dots. Microsoft also plans to adopt this new animation across the entire OS, but for now, we're only going to see it when starting up the computer. And I'm going to show you how that looks like by restarting the computer. This is the legacy circle of dots. which is still part of the shutdown experience. But now you can see this is the new ring animation. Finally, the Windows startup sound would no longer play after the computer reboots automatically to applied updates. Also moving forward, Windows 11 will ship with .NET Framework 4.8.2 that brings ARM64 support for the runtime. And that's it. Those were pretty much all the new improvements and new features that Microsoft have been working on for Windows 11 version 22H2 up to this point. We expect more builds coming in the future with even more features and more changes. I will also be leaving a link in the video description to a post that I keep updated with the new improvements that Microsoft is releasing on every build. Remember to like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet, and I just hope this video was informative for you, and I would like to thank you for viewing.